Well, hello and welcome to the 2024 Rugby League season. The purpose of this presentation today is to take you through a number of rule changes and changes to the interpretations of the rules that are going to apply in the 2024 season. Now, we've been working with coaches and clubs and sending referees to training sessions over the last month or so to make sure that this is smooth. We would like to see these things addressed in training rather than being addressed on the field. But I'll take you through firstly the one rule change. There's only one change to the laws of the game that will apply in 2024. And then there are a number of interpretation changes that I'll take you through, which are as a result of a number of practices that we've seen creep into the game over the last couple of seasons that we felt needed to be pulled back. Again, we've been doing this in training with clubs and coaches in consultation with them to try and make sure that they're not issues that the referees have to act on when we do get into the season starting over the next few weeks. So I'll start by taking you through the one rule change to the laws of the game, and this relates to restarts from kicks. Now, we're all familiar with goal line dropouts, that we've seen an increasing number of short kicks from goal line dropouts over the last couple of seasons. Teams trying to contest the ball from a goal line dropout rather than kick the ball deep to the receiving team. So crossfield kicks, usually high kicks, but players from the kicking team coming through to try and contest the ball. It's an exciting part of the game. We've seen it happen more and more. The number of those attempts has risen dramatically over the last year or two. And what we've decided to do in consultation with the Commission during the off-season is to provide an additional incentive for those types of kicks, but not only from the goal line dropout, also particularly from restarts at the halfway line after points have been scored, to try and take some of the risk out of teams attempting to introduce a new contest for the ball. In the past, of course, if you kick the ball out on the full from a restart, or it fails to travel 10 metres, the kicking team would be penalised, either 10 metres out from the goal line in the case of a goal line dropout, or on the centre of the halfway line in the case of a restart from the halfway. So the new rule, if we have a look at this, the graphic that we've got, if a kick goes over the touchline on the full or fails to travel at least 10 metres forward, play will restart with a play the ball 10 metres from the kicking line and 10 metres in from touch. So it's effectively a handover, for the want of a better term, with a play the ball to bring the ball back into play. Now that significantly reduces the risk in teams trying these types of kicks, and it's exciting to have a contest for the ball, a new contest for the ball, or additional contests for the ball. We don't have too many of them in the game these days because the ball changes hands every so often in a 6-tackle set. So this is an attempt to introduce something that's a little less predictable and gives a team the opportunity to compete for the ball. Now, there's a few aspects of this that are important that you know about. Firstly, the referee must reach the opinion that the ball is capable of the kick is capable of being contested. So all existing rules apply to kicks that are non-contestable. So, for example, if a team decides to kick long, of course you don't have to kick short, it's not compulsory, you can still restart in whichever way you prefer. But if a team decides to kick long, then all of the existing rules apply. So you kick long towards the corner and it goes out on the full, it'll still be a penalty. Kick the ball directly over the dead ball line on the full, it'll still be a penalty back on the centre of the halfway line. However, if it's an attempt to contest the ball, and as I mentioned, we've seen a lot of those in recent times, so everyone knows what I'm talking about. Usually a high kick and across the field as the receivers come through from a goal line dropout, and occasionally you will see it, or less often you will see it from a restart from the halfway line, usually when a team's chasing points late in the game and need to get the ball back. So this will encourage it to happen more often. It's completely optional. Teams don't have to do this, but if they do it and it goes wrong, they won't receive the severe penalty of a penalty kick in the centre of the line. So we're hoping that will encourage it. Now, another couple of points here. If players from either side prevent the ball from travelling 10 metres, then that will still be a penalty, because we don't want to open up opportunities for the rule to be used in a way that it's not intended for. For example, we don't want coaches saying kick it out on the full or don't kick it 10 metres, because then we can get our defensive line set when they play the ball. We don't have to worry about broken play from a kick-off. So we need to make sure that we don't open up opportunities for that to happen. We also need to cater for, again, it might be late in the match and the team's just had points scored against them. They're still in front and there's 30 seconds left on the clock, and the message goes out just to kick the ball into the grandstand. By the time they come back for their play the ball, time will be expired. So we can't have the rule open to abuse. So it has to be a kick that is capable of being contested, and that will be in the opinion of the referee. And finally, if the half-time or full-time siren sounds prior to the play the ball to bring the ball back into play, then the play the ball will still take place. For that one tackle. And that's obviously because if it, under the previous rule, if it was kicked out on the full or it didn't travel 10 metres, it would be a penalty and time would be extended for the penalty to take place. So time will be extended for the play the ball to take place. Okay, let me just show you a few examples of the sorts of kicks that we're talking about. They won't come as any surprise to you. Now in this particular case, I wanted to show this one because with goal line dropouts, which this one is, as I mentioned to you, they're normally quite high kicks across field. This one was a little unusual because this was a low bouncing kick, but it's still, the new rule still applies to this, so we'll let the footage go. And so the ball's going across field. You can see there are players from the kicking team that are in position to contest the ball, but it beats them into touch. So we'll go back and just have another look at that. As the ball is kicked, it's bouncing towards the 10 metre line, doesn't go over the 10 metre line. There's a player there obviously in a position to try and catch the ball, but it beats him and goes into touch, but it hasn't travelled 10 metres. So in that case, we would see a changeover to the receiving team, 10 metres out and 10 metres in from touch. So that's where the play the ball would take place. In the next example, this is probably the one that we don't see as often, although we obviously see an example here, and you do see it from time to time. This is from a restart from the halfway line. High, short kick, players underneath ready to contest. The ball bounces short of the 10 metre line and bounces into touch. So similar, obviously a restart from the halfway line. Clearly an attempt to contest the ball, but the kick was miscued, didn't go 10 metres and went into touch after it landed in the field of play. So in this particular case, we would again be 10 metres from the halfway line, 10 metres in from touch. That's where the play the ball to the receiving team would take place.